So what does it take to succeed in real estate or even a side hustle? Well, check this out, guys. I've been in real estate as an agent almost 30 years. That's exactly why you should be listening to me, guys. All right, so think about this. I started, like most of you, looking for a side hustle, some extra money, anything like that. I had a regular 9-to-5 job. Okay, 9 to 5. So I would start my day at the job, and then afterwards, I'd go straight to the real estate office. And I was very fortunate. I had a mentor who was doing about 100 transactions, 100 sales per year. So I blessing in disguise, I had a very, very great mentor who showed me the ropes. So that's a big tip right there, folks, is make sure whoever's teaching you has some credibility, has proof in the pudding. Okay. And I was very fortunate that this gentleman was definitely a gamer. Okay. So I learned it. And so doing this side hustle, I was working Monday through Friday, and afterwards take a quick break, had, light dinner, and then start pounding the phones. And so when I started real estate, I was calling expireds, and it was smile, dial, make a pile. And you could use this technique in any side hustle. So if you're thinking about just having an extra part-time job or side income, yeah, that's the way to go. If you're looking to transition, I'll tell you what, there's going to be a moment where you ultimately have to decide if this is something you're going to be doing for a long, long time. Okay. So it took me about 6 months to get my business going, get my pipeline full. And then eventually I had that conversation with my significant other, and I asked her, hey, you know what? I'm really serious about this career. I'm thinking about going full time. Do I have your blessing? And she said, yes. And that's all I needed. And so I quit my regular job, had enough in my pipeline, and then it just started building. So when I left doing real estate part-time, obviously I have more time to devote into prospecting, lead generation, what have you. And then boom, it just started exploding. I went from 12 transactions to 20 plus transactions to 30 plus to 50 to, at the peak of my career at the time as an agent, I did 113 sales. 113 homes sold, and it started part-time, and it was really interesting because, my coach at the time said, hey, you know what? You're pretty good at this, real estate thing. Would you like to be a coach? And it was one of those blessings in disguise as well, where I thought, wow, it was number one, flattering. Number two, something that I'd love to consider, because during college, I was coaching as a side hustle, not even a hustle. It was something I wanted to do while going to college. So I was coaching baseball, and I figured, you know what? Why don't I take this coaching the next level and take it professionally? So I still have my real estate career, and I would coach Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it was a side hustle. It was more of a give back than extra money because I was doing very, very well as an agent. And I thought, number one, this is one of the most influential mentors. Even today, he's still out there doing very, very well. He asked me to be one of his coaches, and I said, yeah, I'd be honored to. And I started coaching and helping people part-time while maintaining my real estate full-time career. And I just enjoyed it. And I did very, very well at it. And I'll tell you what, folks, if you are looking for a side hustle, a part-time income, I highly recommend it, especially, folks, if you're working a 9-to-5 job. There's lots of advantages, folks. You think about, like, especially if you're a high income earner, you need as many write-offs as you can get. And as I put on my disclaimer, I'm not a tax professional, a CPA, anything like that. But what I do recommend is go check that out, because you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table where you could potentially write off. And picking up a side hustle, I know some very, very successful biotech professionals, and they too were looking for more ways to write off, and they couldn't be a real estate professional because they didn't have enough hours to justify them being a real estate professional. So what did I help them do? I actually helped them build a real estate portfolio. Okay. And they built it up to the point where now they have a substantial portfolio where they can, according to their tax CPA professional, they could be a real estate professional. They're not licensed by no means. They don't have a real estate license, nor do they want to or intend to get a real estate license. But now they have their biotech companies, and then they're doing real estate as a side hustle, side hobby, but it's something, of course, that's there is serving them very, very well. So folks, again, should you consider real estate? Yes. Should you consider a side hustle? Absolutely. All right. So folks, I don't know what it is out there for you, but I'll tell you what, when I was a child in Hawaii, that's when it actually all started. Okay. I saw, I was going to Aliamanu Elementary. So believe it or not, yeah, I could talk Pidgin, brah. So if you're from Hawaii, you know exactly what I just said. If you're not, then visit Hawaii, you'll know. It's called Pidgin talk, Pidgin language. Anyway, when I was a child, a young boy in Hawaii, my dad was in the Navy, and my mom and dad did all these side hustles. And I didn't really know what they were doing at the time, but of course, as I grew up, I figured out why they were doing and what they were doing is because God bless our military folks. Sometimes it's not enough what they're making, and especially if you're military, I'm talking to you right now, like from this older grown man, mature now. You should get a side hustle if you're in the military for sure. So my mom and dad would do puka shells. So in Hawaii, those necklaces, puka shells, were those small shells. You see them everywhere. And so they would take that like fish line or whatever, and they'd stick those puka shells in there, and this retailer would sell them. And they would pay my mom and dad for, X amount of necklaces they would do. I remember my mom, I was her runner, her gopher. And so I remember, going house to house, these plastic bags with this small brochure about yay big, 3.5 by 5 or 5 by 7 or something like that. Ladies, you probably know, maybe Avon. So my mom sold Avon, and I remember sticking those samples, helping her out, stick them in the little bag, and I'd go door to door, hang them on the doors. And, I was a runner, a gopher, whatever. But my mom would do that. And then, I remember at one point they even tried Tupperware. But it was one of those things that that too was a blessing in disguise. As for me, I think I was about 7, 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there, that it instilled in me that you don't have to rely on one single income. You don't. And for my VAs, my virtual assistants, in the Philippines or Pakistan, India, I have them all over the world. Good for you. Good for you. Because it's one of those things, being a virtual assistant can too be very, very promising for you, maybe the listener out there. You could do a side hustle. There's Upwork, there's Fiverr, there's many different things out there that you could do on the side. If you're a high school kid or a college kid and you're looking for extra money, well, check those websites out. Upwork, upwork.com, and Fiverr. You could be a tutor. Okay. So there's many, many ways you could create income on the side. Or recently I was even revisiting learning Spanish, and I found this random website, and I met somebody from Costa Rica, from Mexico, from another Latin country. So anyway, and one of my tutors was doing this full time. And so the internet, the Zoom, the technology is so incredible nowadays that folks, you should really strongly consider a side hustle. And especially another reason is the economy. I mean, with stuff going on, and I don't care whether it's here in the US or abroad, you can't rely too much on anybody but yourself. Okay. So learn these extra skills, extra knowledge, all these things that people are looking for. And it might be a hobby that you're really, really good at and turn it into something lucrative. So anyway, folks, before I just start rambling, I wanted to share a little bit about my background, how I got into real estate. It was actually a side hustle, why you should start considering a side hustle yourself, and who knows where it'll take you. So again, if you like what you're hearing, keep subscribing, follow, like, all that good stuff, folks. Seriously, I'm doing this YouTube channel, and whatever means you're also seeing it, maybe Instagram short or TikTok, anything like that. I want to get my message out there. It's enough of Joe playing too small or being too quiet. Okay. I've got a lot of wisdom and knowledge and experience that I want to share with the world, and it was a gentle nudge also that my kids, once upon a time, one day they were watching this video, and they were like, dude, Dad, you know way more than this guy and this guy. And then they said some really big names. And I looked at their videos and I was like, you're right. so, so anyway, yeah, I love my kids, and they kind of really gave me that nudge, and it's that motivation to live to my true north. And it was one of those things, big or small, I want to help create wealth for all. Big or small, I want to help create wealth for all. Anyway, again, take care. God bless. See you guys later, alligator. Subscribe, follow, like, etc., etc. And we'll catch you on the next video.